on doing? That's what I expected. That's what I expected. There we go. All right. All right. All right. Let's see. We should try this new code view. Yeah. Enable. I did try this. Wasn't a fan. Wait. Yeah, I don't think we have any classic, so I think that will be fine. This is fine as well. I'm not sure I liked it as much, but it's fine. It's good too. Good change. Oh, excuse me. All right. All right. What were we going to do? I guess maybe I'm a little. Am I a little hot? Am I a little loud? I can put this a little bit further away. Is that better? Maybe that's better? I don't know. You tell me. All right. What are we doing today? What are we doing today? Let's see. Let's open up a good old Wes term. All right. I was thinking about knocking out the initial database implementation here. Uh, yeah. So we got busting that out. I know that. Hmm. So yeah, I opened this right here. Working a little on this server config, which this failed. Not sure why. Oh, Clippy. Clippy. Oh. I was gonna say, I think it works on mine. I'm not sure I have ProTalk on my computer though. One second, let me check this out. But I'm pretty sure I don't have ProTalk either. We can look at the CRI here. Let's see. There's Prost and tonic build, which is what this is doing. And does this require? Actually, let's just see if I have it. I do have Proto C, so I have ProTalk on my computer. Would be one of the reasons. Okay, that's why this is failing. Okay, why'd this fail? Oh, because Protalk again. Right. Okay. Well, that makes sense. Don't feel like fixing it right now. Okay. Okay, so I was thinking about Saturday, we were looking at doing webhooks. And if we're doing webhooks Saturday, we need to kind of get in a position where we're ready to do like start storing some of that data and stuff. So I was looking at doing some of the database here. That being said, I also was thinking about jumping over and doing the null database because I need to update that. I know that we have an idea of what we want, what we like, and I was just going to power through some of that. It was actually a pretty good time that we had discussing that because I think we'll make a pretty good video. Yeah. All right. So let's see. I guess what I'm going to do is let's look at the database. So I had done this where there was going to be like a couple different ways. And I think like, yeah, let's not do this. Now, this is an interesting thing. This SQLX, which looks interesting. Let me pull that up. SQLX. Over here, in this project, just a little Rust bot that we built, Discord bot. This used RustQLite, and, and I prefer this, but it only supports SQLite. So over here, I used SQLite or SQLX, which is this project right here. And this looks really nice, but this looks really nice. But it has a few oddities in it, which is a little weird to me. So I love how modular it is. It's really modular. Absolutely adore that about it. The thing that was weird, let's go to their examples. I love this. So we'll go to the SQLite, we'll go to the source, and we'll go to the main here. The weird thing here, this has to be hard coded. Yeah. So basically, what you have to do is, and you'll notice here, this .env. And this has to exist, and this database has to exist. This is an SQLite database. I checked in with it. If it doesn't exist, this will fail. If you try to put this as not an environment variable, as like a command line argument, it will fail. And if you make it this environment variable, it actually, for compile time checks that this database exists that's in this environment variable. So this is the one part that's a little weird to me, because it means like basically I have to check in this SQLite database so that people can run it locally. Otherwise, if this file doesn't, you can't create it a part of the, like over here, what we had done here is if you look at when it starts up, this. Well, I'm not entirely sure where. 1 second. So yeah, if you look over here, this creates it if it doesn't exist. And then we can like also do other things as well. So there's no way to do that with SQLX. That being said, it will provide us a way to use SQLite and Postgres. So I think I'm going to power through, try to use it. Now, the thing is, the other thing that's interesting is they have SQLite, Postgres, MySQL. But what they don't show you and don't document is that they actually have, let's jump over to main here. They actually have this any as well, which can connect to any of them. So I'm not, but it's not really documented. Not in their like readmes and stuff. It's documented in the code, but how to use it isn't really documented. Which I like the concept of this better. So we're gonna try to do this, but I'm a little confused as to how to use this because again, there's no example. So what we're going to do is we're just going to follow the SQLite to-dos here, and try to replicate it with the any. That's what we're going to do. So this is creating the pool to connect from, which I had abstracted into this because this connection manager in my original head was managing a connection between either SQLite or Postgres. Those were our two selected options. But I'm not doing that. I'm just focusing on SQLite right now because it's going to let us move the fastest. Not going to slow us down supporting two options. Okay. So we have this connect. We're just doing this with this any pool instead of the SQLite pool. And then we're going to try to run a command, create a database, because there's no create a table. There's no tables in that database. It's literally, I just ran create database, so it's pretty actually empty. We could open it anyways with a text editor. Not going to be a whole lot there. Yeah. No, don't search the marketplace. Also, don't open those files. And specifically, don't cat those files, especially if you're on a live stream. I have accidentally done that twice. You'd think I'd learn after the first time. It turns out I didn't. So we're opening this connection manager with SQLite DB. Actually, I think this is wrong. SQL. I think it's like this, right? And our DB is ALDB. I don't know if we'll keep the connection manager. Because if we just focus on SQLite, we can do this whole connection manager later. We just need to make sure that we write things in a way that we try to make it as modular as possible. I think is the idea to go with. All right, we will remove this SQLite ALDB. I think that's the right way to reference it. Let's see. I actually have it in this environment variable. Yeah. Okay. And actually, we should do this, or else it will get upset. That's what I was learning just before now. Is that it gets a little upset. Which actually, I'm not even sure I can do this. I think I might have to just do like this, which is again the kind of the weird part here. Is that what? Wait. What is it saying? What is it complaining here about? This is what they did. It is. Did I mistype something? 1 second. I have a open parenthesis or in. Oh, I don't have this included. Let's just include that. Sometimes it gives weird errors when there's not includes. Good evening, Russell. Good night. I appreciate you you coming and hanging out these evenings. I know it's like crazy late for you. So I do appreciate it. I value your input. All right, so now that we have this connection, we should be able to execute things on it. And I just want to do like a create table. Maybe we should do like a get table, and if it doesn't exist, create it like as an opening thing here. Let's see what they do here for this. They do connect, and then this is actually super awesome where they're like, oh yeah, this function connect, and then like kind of search through it. This new code and code search is amazing. I'm getting used to it though. But I'm actually quite impressed. Quite impressed. All right, so this is what they do. They do this SQLX query, and they call the pool.acquire. Okay. Oh, you just woke up 30 minutes ago? Oh, dude. Oh, dude. I don't know the exact time for you, but that's like super early or super late, depending on who you ask. So let's just try this. Actually, I'm going to delete this. I'm just going to delete it. Because I think we'll just do it dirty. I was doing this connection manager because I was doing like both, but I think we'll just stop doing that for the time being. And maybe we'll still have a connection manager, some type, but for right now, just testing. I'm gonna throw this out, and we're just gonna do it in here. We'll need to grab this over as well. Delete this. Oh, we need any pull. Oh, this is going to. Okay. I guess we can't do this. That'll be okay. Because we're not behind it anyhow. Wait, they do it. They do it. Maybe I did I not import something? I don't think I need to. Oh, I have the stdio result. Oh, that's why. That's why. Yeah. This is an anyhow result instead of an stdio result. Got to be careful on that one. Not all results are the same. Which is, yeah, we're gonna see. IO is defined as create std. Anyhow is defined. Okay, wait. Return mismatch. This should be fine though, right? You should be able to return an anyhow error, an IO error, and an anyhow error, right? 2 a.m., dude, that's brutal. That's a brutal time to be waking up. No wonder you're cranky all the time. No wonder. This should be fine, right? Maybe I could be wrong. Let me think here. I thought that this would be fine, but obviously it's just really angry at everything. Why is it? Let me try just building it. I don't know. I don't know why this is still complaining about the STDIO error, and this is complaining that it's not an STDIO error. What did I do wrong? I imported anyhow, like a good citizen. Let me just search this. I am probably just missing something. Stack Overflow. So we could just do this. I thought anyhow covered this though. Am I wrong? I could be wrong. I'm gonna copy all of it. And still angry. Still angry. This is a result. Come on. The weird thing is it keeps complaining here that it can't convert to an STDIO error. I don't understand though why that is what it's saying. Because I haven't had it as that for a while. Well, this is mildly annoying. We can update this back to anyhow. But I don't think that's going to matter. I am missing something. I am missing something. I thought you could just do this. And then roll with it. Like they're doing. What am I missing? This is what I thought was. I feel like I've done this quite a few times. I must be screwing something up. They don't have a different cargo import. They do anyhow just like that. I don't know that I'm... Oh, I'm doing the macros on Tokyo, I'm pretty sure. Because that's how you do the main. I have this Tokyo main. That's what's powering that. So I have to be. Let's see. Yeah. Gotta be. Alright, what am I screwing up here? Try using .await .map error. Well, so I agree with you, kind of. Well, I mean, like, obviously I'm wrong. Obviously, at this point, I'll have to admit that I'm wrong somewhere. So if I put this to this here, this won't work. Well, I mean, this isn't going to work. Oh wait. Sorry, I'm still on anyhow. Here we go. This won't work, right? Because it's not going to know the size. Yeah, it needs to have the dynamic keyword. So we have to go back to this, the box dynamic, and we can get rid of anyhow. But this was still not working. This is what I went to as like what I thought was like the catch-all will work for everything. But this didn't work. And this error right here is a little weird because it says couldn't convert the error to an stdio error, which I'm not. This isn't an IO error. This is an error. Try the await map error. But I need to also do it here as well. So I guess I could try to map the error here. But I just didn't think I needed to do this. This feels... I feel like I'm fundamentally missing why this doesn't work. If I have to run map error here. See here, we don't have to map this error. This here returns what type of errors can this return? Does it not return an error? Okay, so it returns an IO result. So this also returns just a different type of error. I don't know. I feel like this should be fine, right? If you try the map error, you can change back to anyhow result. Okay. But this isn't working either. Like this right here isn't working. And I don't understand why it's not. All right, so we'll just do this. We'll just do map error. I guess I should just stop trying to understand. It's obviously beyond my abilities to understand tonight. All right, map error. Let's see. Okay, an error. There we go. I've never actually used map error. Maps a result to the result T of F by applying a function, error value, leaving an OK value untouched. Sure. So let's see. We have our operation, and that's what's going to work on the error result. So, okay, this is actually really cool. This is what I love about enums. Like, you have your OK and you have your error, and this is basically just wrapping the on error with our error. Cool. So line 12 won't need math. But that's what I'm saying. Like, it's still complaining. Right? That's what's so confusing here is both of these are still upset. And I thought they were just transient, so I built, and the build also is saying it. This is what I'm just not understanding is all of a sudden it's completely upset with everything I held to as true. Let me actually just copy and paste this. Maybe I mistyped something and it's upset about a... Yeah, no. All right, so we can do this. Dot map error. That's what Copilot wanted to do. Try adding an expression. Like, yeah, you didn't even give an expression. It's annoyed as the box dynamic needs to be altered to in the return type. But it's annoyed without the box dynamic. right? This should be fine. But it's now I've made it complain about everything. Everything that I do makes this worse. It should be fine like this, I feel like. These aren't very good examples. Maybe it has something to do with Tokyo. This is a really strange thing that I've just stumbled upon, because like how I would normally do it is just this right here, and then this would be fine with both of these. But now for some reason it's upset with both of these. But I think this is using Tokyo. Yeah, this is using Tokyo main. I don't know. I don't know what I've screwed up. Oh, well, I mean, I do have this map error on here. Uh, but this one, I think you're right. We can just do the map error on. But these, I'm not sure why. Okay, actually, let me do. I had this. Maybe I'll just use the connection manager, and then this way it actually offloads. 1 second, 1 second. Let me just do this. This is gonna be really stupid. Now, can I question mark that? No, I can't. Because it's not an S. This is what got me in trouble. I had an stdio result here, and that's what makes this happy. This new server here is happy with this. If I return this to a anyhow result, this gets upset. So let's actually then map this, right? Because that will make this happy. And I don't think that there's magic imports and features. That's I was looking through that because sometimes there are, but there's just anyhow features. Unless if struct opt is doing more than I think it's doing. Maybe it is. I have Tokyo with macros. So we can just do this. We'll just do let's see, E air into. I think we can just do this, right? Right? Is that all we need to do? Yeah. Okay. Does this make everything happy? I don't know why I need to do this, but you know what? We'll go with this. I thought that this should work with this, but it doesn't. But that's okay. We got it. What were the features on SQLX? So this was SQLite and the Runtime Tokyo native TLS. I haven't done TLS yet, so I don't actually have TLS, but I sure hope that this doesn't change. Doesn't change. Let me see what mine is on here. Let's actually make sure this builds. I think it will. Okay, yeah. So, okay, oh, I was looking at my. So I have this. I have SQLite and Postgres and Annie and Runtime Tokyo native TLS. So I already have it, even though I haven't done TLS. So this is the beauty that was really weird, is it's an undocumented feature. It's beautiful because there is no documentation for it, which is this is what I'm actually leveraging instead of the SQLite because they only document SQLite. But any should actually allow me to connect to any database in theory, but you had to dig around in their code to actually find it, which is what I did. I wasted so much time on. I was writing this whole, as you can see, I was writing this whole like connection manager that was going to wrap both of them, and I was doing this, and then I stumbled upon a keyword Annie in their code while trying to figure out how to wrap that. Oh my gosh, this might work. All right, but let's actually make a call to this now. Let's see. Let's see how they do this. Otherwise, Russell, what I was going to do was just jump back to this. This actually, the RustQLite works pretty well, and we can worry about a Postgres supporting Postgres later ourselves. And just like this worked, we got this running kind of quickly. I know it's not pretty, but we're just going to do this right here. All right. It's pool.acquire. Pool.acquire. Oh, we do have a build failure in our pipeline, which is something we're going to need to update. I might do that. So. Actually, what did I... It's pool. All right. All right, we'll get our connection pool. And then with our connection pool, we can make they have this query macro. This should fail. We're just going to run this though. This should fail. Because we don't have I only just created the database. We haven't actually, done any, we haven't created a table. So there is no table. So there's no to-dos table. This is just from their example. All right. So why does it dislike this? Yeah, error, unable to open database. This is what annoys me about SQLX. This is what annoys me about SQLX. Maybe it's awesome, but you literally have to have access to the database while it's running. And I bet you the reason that it is... upset is this is running in the base workflow. And so I bet you what we need to do is it needs to be server/ALDB. And that's going to let it connect. Ah, error return unable to open database file. Okay. Also, this is cool. We're just ignoring what we pass in here. We're just ignoring that. Also, is it actually erroring here? Is this actually an error? I feel like it's not actually an error. Okay. It is an error. And that would maybe explain why it can't open the database. Feel like Rust hates me tonight. I don't assume anything. I don't think they keep saying that they're not a ORM, so I didn't think that they did. Yeah, see, like they say these, so but it is kind of weird. Like it needs an active database. So if you're testing this against Postgres, you'd have to actively be connected to the database, which I don't know, seems a little weird to me. Like for your compile time checks, you have to be actively connected to the database. Which I don't know, maybe it's really cool once you get into it. It seems a little weird to me. Oh, wait. Maybe compile time verified queries do quite a bit of work at compile time. Incremental actions like cargo check and cargo can be faster when using an optimized build by putting the following. Let's see. Let's look at their examples here. And if we jump to SQLite to-dos, so this is what they do. Create the database. They have a command. Oh, they do have migrate run. But migrate what? Oh, they have their own migration here. So, but it doesn't run migrations. They have a command line tool. Like this SQLX is just like a helper tool that can create an SQLite database. They're doing this a little differently than I do. Maybe I'm wrong. I thought it was the other way, but I'm very could very possibly be wrong. The other thing is actually what I can do is open this up So sometimes this is a thing that gets, we're in a project, but we could look at just opening up server. And see if that clears up some of the confusion. And the reason I say that is like I was trying to give it a relative path here from the root of the directory. I don't know. Is this happier? It seems happier. Oh, I know. I know. This is garbage. This is garbage. I was just playing around with this. It kept complaining at me if I didn't give it a environment variable. Oh, you know what though? I could put this. I can put this here. For sure. And over here use the URL. Right? So the reason it wants, I think I understand now, but the reason it wants this is because it needs to actively check the database. Like to do its thing, this macro is actively touching the database to make sure that this type will work. So we're still unable to open the database, so we're not quite there yet. This is failing. Why is this failing? A mismatch types. Oh, I can handle that. Okay, expected a struct of string, found a reference. Wait a second. Is that all I was doing wrong? What does var return? Is this just because I didn't import var? Oh my gosh. Oh, var was over here. Var was over here. Or env. Okay. Okay, I think this complaining was just because I didn't have env imported. All right, statically checked. Okay, but my question here then, it's still saying that it can't open the file. Is this .env file working correctly? Yeah, compile time check sounds really cool. The only problem that I really have with the compile time checks is I can't turn them off. And so like for right now, it is actually pretty cool. But at the same time, what if I was developing this for Postgres and didn't have a local instance of Postgres running? I don't know. It means for development, you have to have whatever database you're using running during it, which maybe is fine. Uh, I haven't always done that. I just need to get used to it. I think. I think bare minimum, I have to just get used to it. Okay, so maybe this .env file is not working. I was under the impression this would put this in our environment. That's what they said to do. But we can just export this. Let's just do this and then do a cargo build. We're going to run it. So it's still not able to. It has the right environment variable. Let me actually try to update this to what I thought it was supposed to be. I thought it was this. Am I wrong? Oh. Oh gosh. There we go. I guess I'm wrong. That's fine. That's fine. I'm happy to be wrong. Happy to be wrong. Okay. So there is a database file, and it is an SQLite database. There have been no migrations, so like there is no create table if does not exist, which I wanted to because this should show us that that table doesn't exist. Hopefully the macro does. That's the idea at least. Okay, okay. You know what? Just to make sure that none of this is causing the problem, we're going to do this. This is just going to let me iterate on it a little bit faster. Then we'll go back to this as soon as we know what we want here. We want whatever this is. This. All right. Unable to open database. Well, let's delete this database and try again. Just to make sure that, you know, we're doing what they did. Let's go here. We'll do this. Yeah, it created the table. All right. The only thing I can think of is that the only thing that I can think of is that this is a bad error. It says unable to open database, and it actually means unable to open table. So can you look in the target debug? Yeah. What are you wanting to see here? The DB file shouldn't be here. So when you run, it looks here at the root of your project, not in the target. Oh, it might. I get your point. It might be server again. Wasn't thinking that it would be, but you don't have to escape out of target. It sets the working directory as the root of your project. I've done this part enough times, like when we were targeting a file, in config here. Oh wait. Let me open yeah, actually, this is good enough here in config. Um, we didn't have to in our tests. Well, I guess we need to go back. Just to the assembly line. So in our tests here for config, here, we didn't have to escape out of target debug. That would be weird. We're just inside the working directory, right? I can fully qualify the name. That's easy enough. It's a good point. Let's just fully qualify the name. Home Merrick code. Uh, 1 second, 1 second, 1 second. Assembly line. Server. Done. Fully qualified. Let's actually just validate that that's fully qualified. Yeah. Okay. So that's correct. And al.db is there. Unable to open database. Donasta, thank you for the follow. I'm going to tell you the same thing that I've told the last 3 people that have followed, and that is thank you very much. And I'm super sorry I don't have any sort of stream notification. You're that early on into a very awesome stream. I don't know. That's a little narcissistic of me, but I appreciate that you thought it was worth following. And it's on my list. I'm actually probably going to take an entire week off of streaming just to work on some of these things, so that we have them in the future for you all. So thank you. Consider this your thanks for the follow. All right, let's go back to this. It's saying unable to open database file. Doesn't say it doesn't find the table. But yeah, let's create the table. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to put a migrations in here, and we're just going to copy theirs and create it, and we're going to see. Migrations. It's probably not a bad idea to have some migrations anyways. So I know that's a horrible name for a migration, and it should have the date and a whole bunch of other stuff, but we're just doing this. All right, so then we're going to go what was their command? They had a command for migration. It's the one that created it. I do believe it's the one that created it. Did we change the .env? No, it's the right one. We can just export it again. Oh wait, it's probably saying no such file or directory about finding migrations because I'm a dum-dum and I put the migrations in the source. We can talk about where migration should live, but I'm thinking it's probably not finding any migrations. Yeah, that's what it was. That was the problem. All right, and this is I'm happy that this is still erroring. Not that I want it to still be erroring, but I'm happy that it's still erroring because if this was saying unable to open database file and what it really meant was that the table didn't exist, then I would be more upset because then it's just a bad error. So I'm glad it's a good error. It's a good error. My next question though is why can't it why can't it find the database? What am I doing wrong? What am I doing wrong? Let me go back to the example. Maybe I missed something. All right, so this is all they did. We did this. Let's go to their source. All they have is this. All they do is they make a connection pull and then they do stuff. So this just runs this. I'm doing this. I'm doing this. This is all I'm doing. Now, I know last weekend I did all of their demo with SQLite purely and it worked. The only thing that's weird here is I'm doing this pull connection any. Like I said, this pull connection is a completely, this any pull connection here that I'm using here is completely undocumented. Maybe this is my problem. Let's actually fix this. Let's actually fix this. We can do this really quickly and test this. Instead of this right here, let's go here. Let's do this. Let's make this an SQLite pool. Boom, boom, save, done. Does this all of a sudden work? This is an SQLite pool connection now. No. Let me try not fully qualified. Just try that right there. Does that work? We even got a write-ahead log and everything. We know the migrations worked. We have wall here and we have our shim. Oh, that's a beautiful. That is beautiful. We should actually see more in here now. Yeah. We actually have a table in here. If you guys didn't know, you can actually open up SQLite in just text. It's a little painful to watch, and you can actually filter out these characters, and you can actually kind of understand what tables and stuff are in an SQLite database just by looking at their text here. So we can see a migration. It's in SQLite 3. All right. How do we test this? How do we figure out what's wrong? Oh, all right. When you say, Russell, when you say create table, did you mean run migration or change this into a create table statement? I think you meant run migrations because that's what I did, but maybe I misunderstood your comment. We could make a create table statement, but I don't think that's going to help anything here. How do we test? What did I do over here? This was just so much simpler over here. I think I committed that I gave you an anthem of points. Oh, get as a database. Okay. In my testing. What do you want to do to simplify the path? We did full path, and we verified this, so we can verify it again. We can do this, which would be the relative path to the build. That still errors. Actually, let's just try building. Maybe this is not a real error. No, it's a real error. Okay. Then we could remove this. So it's just in the server, which it is just in the server project here. Maybe that's the relative path it's going on. No. Which actually, now that I think about it, I think this is still correct because I do believe it's relative to the server's build. But this is not correct. We've simplified. We're using SQLite pools. So it's not the any. I was kind of worried there for a second that it was something to do with any. Migration. Now, how about copy it over to temp and use that path? Okay, so copy it over to temp. I'm not sure what that's going to do. I will do it though. Okay. So we've removed the database now. Still the same error? Kind of what expected. Now you're wanting to simplify the path. I'm not sure how that simplified the path. I think I'm misunderstanding what you were saying. Oh, you're saying root. You're saying root. 1 second. 1 second. I now understand what you were saying. Uh so this would just be TMP. All right. Oh, wait. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. It's actually TMP, TMP. Not my, not my proudest moment here, but it works. Oh, wait. I didn't do absolute path here. Okay. Let's just try building really quickly. Hmm. Was that okay? Okay. I don't know if this was one of our problems all along. This here, I had two ends here. Was this our entire time we fighting with I kind of just want to try this again. Unable to open up database file. This is unable to open up database file. Uh server. Unable to open up database file. I'm pretty sure that I've just gotten my butt handed to me by the simplest database out there. I'm like, I'm not like a real database expert. I'm like, I exist in the middle part. Like, there's database experts, and those are people I work with. And then there's like the rest of the people. And I'm better at databases than the rest of the people, worse than the experts. I'm like in the middle somewhere. I'm my thumb. And I just got my butt handed to me by SQLite. Oh, fantastic. Fantastic. I'm proud of myself tonight. Does anybody else have anything else to try? Yeah, so we can dig into this macro. I actually did that a little bit the other day. This is actually how I found out about the Any database. Was digging through some of this. We're going to expand the query. Oh, I forgot that this was not working very well. 1 second. I am still learning to use this new GitHub. This search on the side is actually pretty cool. The blame is actually also pretty awesome. You get to see who did what pretty easily. Now, I don't like how some people use blame. I like to use it to find the commit that it was changed in so that you can tell the big picture changes that were happening in that commit. It's not about the person that made it. When you look at this, you're looking at, this commit. If it changed here in this commit, you can go look at that and see what else got changed in that, because most likely there was a bigger picture of why that thing got changed. That's why blame is so powerful. You just have to be careful not to be a jerk about it. I guess I've just written enough bad code, so I'm good. Okay, let's go to the macros here. So this is the expand query. I agree with you, Russell. The connection string must be wrong. 100%. We can clone this repo and we can do what they did. I agree with you. I don't know how I'm screwing it up though, because the connection string isn't that hard. It's SQLite. It's not that hard. Oh yeah, I think I already did. I think I already did this weekend, last weekend, or 2 weekends ago. It might have been 2 weekends ago at this point, because I had to open it up in VS Code to. I've slept like 14 times since then. So we have. Let's see. Let's run through their example. Let's run through it. So we'll export this. That's theirs. Fine. Good enough. Let's do this. Easy. Let's do this. We'll run their migrations. And then we'll open it up in Visual Studio Code. We'll open it up over here. So it's SQLite. So the server doesn't actually run Adut. Thanks for joining and commenting and chatting. But so there is no server that runs with SQLite. It's literally just a file. If you don't use the SQLite, it won't know which database and it will fail a check there. I can show you though. That should fail. That should fail here. Because it's not a valid SQLite connection string, right? All right, we'll open up this example over here. It's not in my recent. Maybe it was a little bit longer ago, the last time I opened this. Open folder. Oh, sweet, sweet goodness. Thanks for putting the open folder over here. I am getting thoroughly annoyed with where Visual Studio Code decides to open things on what monitor. All right, so we have this here. Let's see it fail. Come on. Now, this is another thing where I would say I don't have the connection string wrong, Russell, because if you remember, we ran the migration. See the shim and the write ahead log? We ran migrations on the database, and we were using, what were we using? We were using the .env file here. This is what we used to write these things. So I would be very hard pressed for you to prove that this is wrong, because another tool used that to create the database. I mean, obviously it's wrong, But why it's wrong, I don't know. This should be fine, but it's not. One thing, we're looking at this though. This seems to be working fine, right? Because that's what examples do. They work perfectly. Wait. Let's just run this. This can't be working correctly. It doesn't have the .env. I was gonna say this has to be broken. Wait a second. So this is in the maybe I checked it out in an unstable place. This is just a compile time error in the core database. You know what we can do? What we can do here is instead of using this, so what this is doing, if nobody has seen this before, this is actually saying that we're using a module inside of where the code lives. But let's, for kicks and giggles, do it the exact same way we're doing it. Like it's not part of the SQLite core or the SQLX core. And we'll just do it like this, version 6.0. Beautiful. That should fix what we're seeing here too. Because what I think is happening is there's a problem with the version that we're... All right, let's run this and see if... So this is where you need the .env file. This was the really weird part. To use query macros, you have to have a database URL environment. And it's going to complain through all these. So there is no .env, so we're going to create a .env. And in here, we are going to... What was... we're just going to copy what we did here. Except we're going to update it. Like I said, SQLX was a little weird to me. It was a little weird. But to-dos DB. There we go. Now this should work, right? This is going to work. No. Oh no. I know what it is, Russell. Ah, I hate macros. I love macros and I hate macros. I just put it together. Guess what? This doesn't care what's passed in here. The static checking done here, done here, is done by whatever's in the environment variable, not what you passed in the code running. So all of the testing that we did here by changing this didn't affect this at all. Not at all. Because it is only looking at this. That's it. So all of the like, oh, let's check this path, like, oh, we did the, let's try server.aldb, wouldn't have mattered. Because this is checking the environment. And I'm not entirely even sure that this is reading this in file correctly, but it does appear to be because that worked here. I just realized it from what this was doing because it said, oh, it needs an environment variable. It needs that environment. I don't. This is why I said SQLX is a little weird. Maybe I'll come to love it. Maybe but it's a little weird. Like how they do things is a little weird to me. I understand why it is the way because in their static checking, where they're trying to get to it, they don't know what connection manager ran. They don't know what this dynamic string is. I remember this. I don't know if you like 3 weeks ago, I told you SQLX is weird. This is what I was going through. This is like the epiphanies I was having. And it took me a whole hour to get here again, which I'm sorry. I've slept so many times between then and that. This was the weirdness that I was going through. There we go. It's fixed. No such table in to-dos. That's what we were expecting. This is the very first thing that I did. This is what I was doing. Okay. Okay. I'm sorry. I had the epiphany and I got loud and I'm pretty sure I peaked my microphone. Sorry if I got too loud. Between getting rickrolled by AIs and this, yep. Welcome to my life. All right, so this is doing what we expected. We never created the table. Awesome. Now, I do have my own problems with this. Like, this is cool and seems great, but what if your code starts up and says, "Hey, if the table doesn't exist and I'm SQLite, I create it." That was my other problem when I was coming up with this. Was what if I want it to create the table, which means you can still do it, but for development, you have to have the table already there. To sit here in dev, you're going to have this already there, or else it's going to fail. And the other thing is, for building, you still have to have it. To actually test it, you have to test the feature of like, hey, will it create my SQLite database outside of the project almost, which is another point that I don't really like. And I know what they're trying to do here, and this is really cool. It just was not nearly as convenient as, let me open up, oh yes, it's going to open up over here, what we did for the Discord bot. So, in here, we were able to really easily do a create user table. And so then if it doesn't exist, well, actually, we took the easy way is we tried to create it if it doesn't exist every single time. Which is what I'd like to do with SQLX here, because basically my thought is if you start up and you don't have a database, it automatically generates the database. It already starts kicking and going. Obviously, that won't work if it's Postgres, and that's fine. No, that's not what I said. I think everyone knows that I hate runtime errors. I didn't say that at all. That is putting words into. I think every runtime error you can get rid of, you should do it. That's why I like the idea of SQLX. I'm just struggling with some of it. I think it actually could make it easier to get some runtime errors because we're going to check in this ALDB because that's. I guess we don't have to check it in, but that means everybody has to create their own database. And the thing is, we can't rely on this to create a database for us because this can't compile until you have a database. Does that make sense? I did not say that is not what I said. That is not what I said. I said you cannot compile this and have it create the SQLite database for you without the SQLite database. Okay? There's a difference from compile time checks and not compile time checks. That's a difference. This code doesn't compile without this ALDB. That's like just the fact of it. This won't compile without the ALDB and the environment setup, which means if we did something that creates the table and creates the database like we did here, for people that just start this up, because what you're saying is that when people start up assembly line, they have to first configure an SQLite database. I think that's a horrible user experience. Horrible. I absolutely, if they're using Postgres, they have to set up the Postgres database first. That's not why you use SQLite. You're just lucky I don't actually have bands yet, Russell. I also give you credence because it's early and you have a horrible sleep schedule. All right. I'm good. I'm not gonna check this in, but I'm gonna check it in. Let's actually make this work. We're gonna do. We're gonna just do this. What table are we going to? I don't know what table we're creating actually. Create table if not exists. What table? We're creating a table. Users. I mean, we have webhook stuff, and we're going to be storing assembly lines and repos. So I guess maybe the repos. We'll call it repos. Repos for right now. Creative does not exist. Yeah. Oh, look. That looks good. And we don't need this. No, we need some of that. We don't need that. Done. And we don't need this. And that works. So there's the compile time checks. Wait. Now I don't understand what you're saying. Jobs or whatever you want the result to be recorded in. I'm not sure what you're talking about, Russell. Oh, okay. Yeah. Sorry. So we are getting set up for Saturday. So Saturday we're gonna have a big stream. I can just go over really quickly with people if they'd like. I don't know the exact table name right off the top of my head, but let's look at this. Basically, we have these WebSockets that are going to have jobs or pipelines definitions defined in Git repos. And so I don't know, I said repositories because I was kind of thinking off the top of my head, we're going to have this, a repo, and a repo can have jobs, or something like that. And a job is going to have probably just YAML or JSON. We'll probably serialize it in and leave it in JSON in here. JSON. Can we just do a JSON blob? I actually know that Postgres handles this really well. Having just a JSON blob in there. But we'll think on this. I'm trying to get us ready to do a big stream on Saturday so we can actually do the WebSockets, configure them, actually test them and run them locally and do all of that. So Saturday should be fun if you want to join then. Webhook. Did I say WebSocket? I said I meant webhook. It's late for me, not as late as Russell, but it's late for me, and I meant webhook, not WebSocket. I opened this up to draw, and then I did this, which this is horrifying. Get over there, Jason Blob. Yeah, this is horrifying. Okay. Well, cool. Cool. I am going to make a commit here. Oh, you know what I actually want to test out? What I want to test out. Can we do this? This is going to be great. This is going to be great. I want to go back to Annie. So with this, it should actually pick the driver based off of the URL. And then I'll clean these up. So this didn't like that. Oh, this isn't liking the dot execute. It takes an executor of type E. What is the error here? So it didn't like it. I love. Okay, so Visual Studio, you need to fix this. If I hover over an error, don't put the error at the bottom. That's not what I want. It's not what I want. And then I find like I'm like hovering over in this corner, and sometimes I can get it to give me the error instead of the. Yeah, see, like now it's just giving me the error. If you go in the bottom left corner, oh, but if you accidentally, you gotta kind of go out and around. It's annoying. No, that's all right. Don't move. Type mismatch resolving Annie as executor. Why is it expecting SQLite? I might have SQLite somewhere. I don't think I do. This is a connection pool of any. The database URL is SQLite. Maybe this is not a thing that we should tackle today. Maybe we should take our win. Maybe we should take our win and move on. This execute doesn't take an SQLite, it takes an executor. And that's giving this DB, which DB is the generic DB, which means it should be the database, which should be either SQLite. Yeah, my MySQL, Postgres, it's the driver. Unfortunately, here with the any, I am going on undocumented waters. And so and it implements the executor. I was hopeful this would work. I think this is a check that they're doing. They're wanting SQLite. So maybe it's undocumented because you shouldn't be doing this. I don't know why it exists then. I don't know why it exists then. If you are just joining and new, we do have a Discord. Feel free to jump on there. Talk about some of this stuff. We have some open source projects if you want to join in on those. That's a great place to start. It also supports Microsoft. Ugh. All right, where's your docs? Docs. So see, this is where like a generic database driver, it is in the Rust docs here. Capable of being used in place of any SQLX database driver. The actual driver used will be selected at runtime from the connection URL. See? There's just so little on it here. I'm not worrying about it. I'm not worried. This is me not worrying about it. Watch this. Watch this. Oh, look. Everything works now. And we already said, so one of the things that we said is we want high availability. This should be able to be in production and whatnot. And SQLite is really great, and I actually like it and think it's underutilized when people don't need the actual. Some people, a lot of the times, a good backup strategy with SQLite is perfectly fine, and you don't need the scaling and you don't need the HA. I do think that this needs to support the HA eventually, but not right now. So we're just going to use SQLite and move on like this. So we're going to make a commit here. This is not perfect code. Let me clean up just a little bit. This should be moved. Let's actually redo this to. Wait. What are we redoing this to? We should just use the environment variable like we were doing. Yeah, we'll just use it. We'll just do it like this again. Was complaining about this. Expected a string, found a reference to a string. Okay, that's fine. Now that's we're using that. We'll get rid of web. This looks better. This looks like garbage. This is still garbage, but it's fine. It's fine. It's fine garbage because I wrote it. And we all know that I write fine garbage. That's we probably need to decide on a plugin strategy and put a database to access stuff behind a um you don't want to see my plugin strategy. Now, I don't want to do that right now though. Like I'm not going to sit here and argue that in theory it's not better, but I want to get something that actually works and then talk about putting it behind something like that. Personally, I don't know. Maybe that's the wrong way of looking at it. Because I agree with you. How you store your database, you should, in theory, be able to write your own module that uses whatever database you want. And you know, if you want to actually put a really solid database behind it, you put Aerospike behind it. That we all know that. You know, if you want to just die occasionally, you put Mongo. If I continue talking, I'll not work at a lot of companies. But yeah, so okay. I'm good with that. Yeah, agreed. SQLite hardcode, then plug in rather than fixing SQLX any connection. Okay, that sounds good. And then we can actually write a when we go to do the plugin, we can basically use what we did with SQLite and make it a plugin, like template our plugin based off of it, and then make a Postgres for it, like side by side. We might be able to use SQLX for Postgres as well, but it might be nice to just make it its own plugin instead of trying to deal with their any. Their documentation is not great, and what they do document is Postgres and SQLite. So I think drawing inside the borders is our best options, unless if we really want to become like super experts in it. I think SQLite actually would go beyond like I think a lot of people would be fine with SQLite with a backup strategy. And I honestly think there should be people that use it with SQLite in production. Not any really big companies, whatnot, but you also have to think that this is running your tests for your code. So if there was a hiccup in downtime, it's not like production goes down. It's not a production system. Again, I'm not saying that it should and that we shouldn't support the high availability. Not what I'm saying. But I think that there's going to be people that spend extra money and have extra pain for something that they don't need. Like I said, I am fine with running it on SQLite in prod. Absolutely. Again, it's not even a production system. Hopefully, you can't make deployments probably without it, but so I mean, it's important not to go down, but backing up and restoring SQLite is fast. All right, let's clean this up really quickly. This was just me experimenting a lot. Actually, I still want this connection manager, I think, because what I was going to do is instead of having these like strewn everywhere, what I was going to do is on this connection manager is actually make a bunch of functions like create the table or whatnot. So like there was easy to use functions, and that's how I was just going to kind of map it out, which I also thought tied in really well when we make it a plugin. We can see what public functions we have there on the connection manager, and pretty much we've already defined our our API there. So I think that we can call it something other than connection manager. It was connection manager because it was going to manage between which connection you were. So maybe connection manager isn't the right name anymore. But I still like the premise of it. It's fine. It's fine that you're wrong sometimes, Russell. No, I'm just teasing. I might have a different opinion here. CI/CD is part of your prod system in my mind. As you need to fix something in prod and the CI/CD down, you are down. Okay, I will. It depends. I think. I would still go with it depends. In my mind, I like GitOps. And if it's GitOps, then you're absolutely right because you can't touch production. You have to touch your GitOps. But a lot of people still touch production. And so for the people that are going to fix it in production and then fix it in their pipelines, which is probably the wrong way to do it, that's not true. So probably, I guess I just argued against myself here because I would say that you're doing it wrong if it's not in your CI/CD. So yeah. So yeah. That means it has to be down while your production is down, though. That's like saying if your redundancy is down while you're when you need your redundancy. Generally, you can assume that redundancies can be, like if you take a redundant database down for a backup, that's generally like not necessarily a great thing, but can be acceptable. Cowboys don't have production though; they have a ranch. I think I take your point though. I do think it's I wasn't saying that assembly line should just go down by any means. Yeah, I wasn't saying that. I was just saying that if you have to restore, that's probably high availability enough for most people's production. I guess is especially because a hiccup in it does not cause production to be down. So if it's down for 5 seconds, nobody can fix their production anyways in 5 seconds. If it's down for 5 seconds, it's not taking your production down for 5 seconds. And if that 5 seconds that it's down coincides with your production being down, there's still a if you have that backup and restore, it's a very simple backup and restore that should take very little time. So I still would argue that it's fine in production. I guess is maybe where I'm going. Let's see. No. I accidentally added stuff. Let's delete some of this. We do not want this. Temp. Do we really want these? I want to say no. These should not be checked in. So we're going to add these to the git ignore. So let's jump to the git ignore. Nice try, but no. We want anything with db shim and db. Oh, it got the second one. It got the second one. And we probably want to. I think we probably want the migrations. I know this isn't an ORM, but it's nice, especially since people will have to stand up. So we're going to actually just update this. So users, or not users, but what did we call it? We called it repositories. We don't need the forks or watchers. We don't need the stars. We don't need the language. I don't know. These might be nice. Maybe not the owner. We'll say this. We'll say this. Again, we'll figure this out more. This will be more Saturday for sure. Are there SQLX tool APIs so you can use a build RS without just SQLing shell calls? I don't know. That's a good thing for someone to look into. I'm trying to look into enough things. I'm trying. I can look into it at some point. I will delegate that to Sid to find out. He's gonna get more work. All right. So I think this should be good now. Git status. We'll check in the migrations. I feel like we should be able to do something in the build.rs for like running the migrations and stuff. I think that's probably, I don't know that they have a example of that, but that would be what I would want them to do. Is instead of doing this, like this should be a GitHub action solidly. Create the database if it doesn't exist. Create the do all of those things. And if it doesn't exist, we can actually use what we did I guess not here, but we can actually use what we did in the Discord bot to do that. The answer of I don't know is accepted. Yeah, I don't know everything. The more I do learn, the more I'm pretty sure I know very little. All right, let's see. This looks better now. So we have the server stuff. We don't have extra DB stuff. Looking good. So we have the main, we have the connection manager, the init SQL, bad name. Do I fix it? Yes, I fix it. I'm trying to set a good role model, so we'll go back in here and fix that. Migrations, init. What is the standard naming convention for these? I've been working in NoSQL for a little while now, so database migration. NoSQL generally is a schema on read, not a schema on write, so you don't have the migrations. It's usually like what is it? Date, and then let me just Google it. I've already admitted I don't know. Naming convention for database migrations. I thought it was date. Maybe it's just date. Date, time, action, table name. I like adding like we could actually put like a ticket number in because we're using GitHub, so we could have issues to track that. Do we want to do do we want to do date Uh, issue. Oh, well, thank you. I cannot take credit for it myself. I copied this off of somebody, but do you know what? I will find out who it is because I did write it down, and I can definitely get it to you if you like it. Yeah, I mean, I can share what I have, but I also want to give the original creator of it's pretty simple and straight and to the point, so I liked it. I didn't need anything flashy or anything. Shows I don't have to run HTOP because I can see my memory and my CPU sitting up there. Um, my volume is broken, so I can't show volume. So yeah, it's fairly simple, clean and to the point. So can't take credit for it. I can share mine. I don't have a dot file, but I will get you one. I used to have network too. I don't have network anymore for no real reason, actually. So this is a newer install. I'm learning Arch. I usually use Ubuntu, and usually I have network on there too. I don't know that I look at the network very much though. Needs more. Russell, you kill me. You kill me. Needs more Tokyo Drift. You kill me. Okay, so we're just going to do date for right now. Can I print the date time on the command line? Linux print date time. I just want to copy and paste it. Okay. Never use date. That's not what I wanted. All right. Let's see. These are too many options. You, good sir, were no help. That's not what I want either. Ah, this is what I want right here. This is what I want. But now I'm going to have to put this in the README because, my goodness, I'm never going to remember that. All right. Perfect. We're going to just do this. Rename. Boom. The date. Hopefully that was UTC. I'm not that worried about the hour. That'll be fine. Let's actually update the README really quickly, just so that we can all use the standard, since I created the standard. So also don't get excited about seeing the network because I specifically don't stream off this computer. This monitor is sent to a little Mac Mini that streams it. And I do that for a couple of reasons. One is I tend to do things that break this computer. And that means I can continue streaming with you all while it's rebooting. So yeah, the other thing is I had network problems, and the other thing is I do some Kubernetes stuff, which when we're doing Kubernetes stuff, completely tanks everything. So it works very well for this not to. Also, it means I don't encode on the same computer. So if we're doing some machine learning, which I was playing around with again over, I do that occasionally. I don't do it a lot on stream. I've been working a lot on this, but if I do machine learning, it doesn't mean I'm competing for the same resources. I can use all my GPU without worrying about it. Oh, I was like, what happened to our, let's see. Let's actually jump into docs. Actually, I have an update to this in the works. So if we go to assembly line here, I actually have an update. I'm going to put it in this update. So in this pull request, working on better docs. It's still a work in progress. I'm going to throw how to do that because in this, I'm working on like if somebody wants to contribute, so getting started, I just have like how to do the pull request, where the office hours is, although that's misspelled. Like I said, it's a work in progress, but feel free to. Okay. Sorry. Enough on that. Uh, do you know what makes me angry? Do you know what makes me angry? I actually love my little Mac Mini for streaming. I know I don't love Apple and I'm very critical of Apple, but I do love it. It's silent, it sits there, and all it does is stream, and it works really well for doing that. Do you know what really annoys me is the M2 Mac Mini doesn't support AV1. Because another problem I have is bandwidth. I have very limited bandwidth, and sometimes the upload can be, and they can do 8K at 8 megabytes a sec. It kills me because I just want to do 4K at, because I can actually encode 4K on that, and my screen is 4K, and it actually means that you guys would get a 4K stream. Actually, it might only be 2K because of the 1440 because of Twitch, but it doesn't matter. It's easier to read. Even if you're on just a 1080p screen, it's better for you guys. It also means that the recorded VOD is better. So I would love this, but it's not given to me. It's not. There's no way for me to do AV1. No way for me to do AV1 encoding. So you're stuck. You're stuck at a sucky 1080p. Unless, okay, I take that back. I could buy a $1,500 GPU and stream straight from my Linux machine. I could do that, and then I would have AV1. I need more Twitch Prime. I need more Twitch Primes for that. That's for sure. Okay, I have actually thought about getting a 1770 as a secondary GPU. I don't know how it would work on Linux though. I saw some people having trouble with dual running on Linux or on Windows. Should I bite the bullet and do the Arc? Should I just do that? Maybe that's the answer. I'm afraid that it's like I do that. And not only do I pay $400 for the Arc GPU, I spend like 6 months not making videos trying to get it to work. That's my true fear. Flower Boy, thank you so much for the follow. I'm going to tell you what I've told the last 3 people that have followed me over the last week or so. I'm so sorry. I don't have any notifications. I know it's considered rude, and I'm being rude. But thank you for the follow. This is the notification. I appreciate your follow, and thanks for the follow. And I'm gonna work on notifications. It doesn't actually work natively with OBS. I have to like use a third party. And then I was like, well, I'm just gonna create my own webhooks so my own system can get them. But that's way too much work, so I'm gonna get a third party to do it. We'll figure it out. So yeah. Anyways, thanks for the follow. You guys are some of the few people that are gonna get the personalized shout out. Think about it that way. All right. I'm still trying. What was our commit? What did we do? What did we do? Oh, we got SQLite working. Got initial SQLite working. Sweet goodness. that should update the pull request. I'm going to leave it in WIP because I honestly actually don't think that this pull request will be ready until after Saturday. My goal is Saturday. This will be ready, and I'll request reviews then. I will drop this in chat. I need to also get better. We need to have a bot so people can like get a link to the repos we're working in and whatnot. So I need to do some bot work on here. I'm probably going to take in a couple of weeks. I'm gonna probably take a week off of streaming to actually focus on some of these maintenance things. Like I have to have a bot, and I know that I stream doing some of those things, like writing our own bot and stuff. But at the same time, when I'm streaming, I'm not as fast at doing the things. And some of the stuff, it's like I need to get some third party to do stream notifications. So that's not really something I can stream. So anyways. If you are new and you're wondering, what assembly line is, I'm going to give you the 10-second elevator pitch. It is GitHub Actions without the suckage. That's my elevator pitch. But think GitHub Actions, but we have two main focus. We don't want vendor lock-in like GitHub Actions, and we want you to be able to run locally just like you do in GitHub Actions. So everything should be able to work locally just like you would expect it to in the GitHub Action. So those are like the two main topics. There's some other things out there. We want parallel execution. We want it to be based off of containers. So that's another one, but I think GitHub does this pretty well. We want it to be super extensible because every step in this is just a container, and thus extending it is just creating your own container or using another container with different run commands. So we want it to be hyper extensible, that it's really easy to extend, and best yet, open source. The documentation currently sucks. I am responsible for most of it. It is on my list of this weekend to have a better documentation out there for people that want to get involved. You should be able to. There's a Discord channel if you'd like to get involved. Go for it. But yeah, that's my 10-second and 30-second assembly line elevator pitch. We write in Rust because we're nerds. And everything good is written in Rust. All right. I think that's it for me tonight. I am a little tired. Been streaming for 2 hours now. I know it's still super new, but I want to have the elevator pitch with some of those high level things because we don't have that. And so like I guess that's part of the problem with it being poorly documented is we're still figuring out some of the things. But we do have high level goals. We have, what we want it to be and what we don't see. Another one, and this is like me getting more nitpicky, I want it to be able to run and leverage Kubernetes. I love Kubernetes. If you watch my YouTube videos, I make YouTube videos on Kubernetes all the time. But I don't want it to be Kubernetes only because I'm tired of this. Like, you guys will know that like I love Argo CD. I love Argo CD. I love Argo workflows, but they are purely Kubernetes applications. You can't run one without the other. The Argo CD doesn't work without Kubernetes. And so I wanted this to be not only Kubernetes. It's like almost NoSQL, not only SQL, which isn't really how NoSQL came about, but whatever. I didn't want it to be not only Kubernetes. I want it to be able to leverage Kubernetes and use Kubernetes to run your workloads and be an amazing CI/CD pipeline tool. But I also want it to be able to just run in your home or to run in your little small server rack or wherever you happen to want to run it. So I can document those things. I can also document better where the Discord channel is, and how to join in a little bit better. I do a lot of these streams are on assembly line. We're working on it. Not all of them. I do some stream stuff, but I'm actually really excited about some assembly line. So I'm putting a decent amount of my own time here on it. So yeah. So yeah. Anyways, I say that to invite you all to join in. If you know what we would like to see happen here is that assembly line almost replaces makefiles. You can define everything locally with it, and you can use it locally without a server. It could have benefit to you without the server part that would orchestrate builds and watch Git repos. But you can also make pipelines and things like that in your server or in your code and have the server watching for those and be able to run workflows on pull requests and on merges to main and all of the awesome GitOps stuff that I like to have. So yeah. Although I do feel like we're kind of to the XKCD point with CI/CD pipelines, like, oh, what was it? XKCD did it with specs. This spec sucks. Let's create it the one spec to rule them all, and now there's 27 specs instead of 26 specs. I feel like there's a lot of CI/CD pipelines, but all of them, we actually went through a review of a lot of them and found a lot of them to be less, how do I say it? They failed in one of these areas that we thought was important. We thought that local debugging, everything local wasn't really a first-class citizen in any of them. We thought not only Kubernetes, there's actually a few cool ones that do run in Tekton pipelines and Argo workflows are really, really cool and super powerful, but they are Kubernetes only, and they don't support local. And GitHub Actions is pretty good, but it doesn't support local, and it has massive vendor lock-in. So actually, I don't on this. It's actually pretty new, but I am actually working on it. So one of the things that we do have here, we can go into the docs and look at our meeting notes. So we do keep our meeting notes open. One of the action items that I have is I am creating a YouTube video for it. Oh, no problem. No problem if you're a little lost on it. That's not a problem at all. One of my goals is to make a YouTube video on it, just saying what we're trying to do. It's probably a month or two out on that. Just one, because I would like for a little bit more of these things to be solidified. But basically, yeah, 5 minutes on what a CI/CD does, 5 minutes on covering other CI/CDs, 5 minutes on the gaps that I see, and 5 minutes on how assembly line is looking to solve all of those things. So there will be a YouTube video in a month or two. I'm going to say 2 months because I'm going to shoot for 1 month. And it will probably be 2 months. So yeah. If you want to join in, no need to we do have a pipeline build issue. So if you are new to GitHub pipelines, we actually use them here. This is actually kind of the cool part of GitHub pipelines. We have these that lint and test our code, and they're actually really simple. And assembly line pipelines are a little bit different. They're structured a little bit different. You can actually see our structure here. We have our base config already worked out here. And we have our example in here. Actually, I think the documentation has a better clean pipeline example. Yeah. So again, a little different than GitHub Actions. Again, we have some problems with GitHub Actions that we're trying to solve, but basically we're saying on a pull request to the main branch, we want you to lint and Clippy everything. And so that means when I made this pull request here, let's actually go back to the pull request. Let's see. Our pipelines actually ran. It actually ran this lint and build and this unit test. Now, both of these failed because Protalk isn't installed inside of these. So this is actually an update to the thing, because if you build this and don't have Protalk, which I do, it will fail. So this was actually more of a configuration issue in the action itself. But yeah, that's what a GitHub Actions does in general. And we just set up some for ours. The goal is that this will actually work off assembly line actions. I'm going to host assembly line for anybody that wants to use it at first until I can't afford to. So you'll be able to use it like GitHub Actions in theory. And you'll be able to see these types of things on your pull requests. But not just on GitHub, you'll be able to do it on any Git repo you'd like. The goal is to initially support GitHub, then to support GitLab, and then to support any repo using Git hooks. So you could just run a bare metal Git repo and have support from assembly line. For this, you want to have this run on pull request, you want to have it run on a cron job, you want to have it run whenever, you can. No, I wasn't sharing my screen, was I? Was I? Nope, I wasn't. Oh, yes, I'm a fantastic streamer. All right, this was what I was saying. But I just talked straight to you. I'm sorry. Okay, so as I was saying, this is a GitHub action that runs this. This was the failure. You can see these are failing, but that's because it doesn't have Protalk, which I have here and prove that I have here. And so basically, we said that it needs to run on every pull request. See, it runs on a pull request to the main branch. And we're just running lint and Clippy, and those need to pass. And this all works, except that if you actually check these out, it doesn't have Protalk. Oh, this is actually updated. This is failing because of the connection manager, which is actually pretty cool. But yeah, so anyways, that's kind of what we're doing. So the first thing to do is support any kind of repo to host it locally and use it anywhere. I'm not sure that I explained that well. The idea is to be able to be your CI/CD pipeline and be able to use it on any Git repository that you want. First, GitHub, because a lot of open source is there. Next, GitLab, because a lot of the other open source is there. And then after that, just any Git repo using GitHub hooks, which is a little bit harder, more involved. We're going to have to write our own hooks. It's going to be a little bit more work. And they should work similarly to GitHub Action, GitHub Actions. I say similarly. They're not completely similar because if you look at our code, you can already start to see differences in how we lay stuff out. We make differences in our assumptions. Each of our steps here are containers. That's not true for GitHub Actions. They can run a container, but that's a container inside the Ubuntu latest. Again, not the exact same thing. I would say that we have taken what a lot of people have done and, used that as inspiration. We're not creating anything brand new here. We are just trying to perfect what's currently out there. other than that, yeah, other than that, I stream some stuff. I have my own cloud here. So I have my own cloud that I'm running, and I do write some code for that. Actually, I haven't shown you guys any of the new code that I wrote for that. That I will have to, I'll have to stream just an update into it. So anyways, I'll have to go over that. Working on redoing the UI with SvelteKit because I wanted to learn the SvelteKit, and the UI is garbage anyways. So yeah, I stream a variety of things. I do a lot in assembly line because I'm trying to get it out and get it into people's hands to see what they think about it. All right, should we try to find somebody to raid? I think we should because I'm probably done for tonight. I'm probably done. I have a lot this week going on. Let's see if we can't find somebody to raid that's interesting. I feel like every single time I go to raid, there have been problems. There have been problems with my raid. Let's see, who do we want to raid? No. I stream Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. And Sundays. Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays, and Sundays. Tuesdays and Thursdays are in the evening after work and I get the kids to bed. Saturday is in the morning and Sunday is like late evening. Not late evening, like early evening, late afternoon. A lot of people are making games. Like all these streams that I look at. Wait. Second coding stream Express hardware assignment. Okay, that has possibilities here. He looks almost as boring as me. See, I have to find somebody that's almost as boring as me, which is kind of difficult. Here's a C++. We're pretty big onto Rust, so I did a lot of C++. I'm not sure if you guys like C++. I actually don't hate C++, which I know is, if you're talking about C++ 20 and you don't use the old C++ that's still supported in the compiler, it's not horrible. It's not horrible. But I don't do indie game. Do we want to learn what this Expressits ports? All right, we have a C++ lover. Let's first shame our C++ lover and then go check out this guy doing C++. So shame on you. Just teasing you. But let's go try to we'll support this guy. Shame on you for your unsafe code. Please. Please. So we'll raid Quantum Apprentice. He's Quantum Apprentice. So his name is way cooler than mine. All right. Thanks everyone for joining me. Stick around, see Quantum Apprentice a little bit. He's doing something awesome in C++. We'll see how we like him. Maybe he'll be a favorite of ours to go raid again in the future. I'll see you on Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays, and Sundays. And thanks for joining. You just coded a WebSocket in C++? Cool.